Hola Houston, welcome to VIVA Magazine Live. I'm your host Blanca Blanco, and this is the place where we spotlight the people and businesses and ideas making a difference in our community. Today, we're talking about one of the most important topics affecting families, schools, and neighborhoods, safety. Our guest today is Zeev Fragachan, COO of Dynamic Integrated Security, a company focused on security solutions that help protect schools, businesses, and community. Zeev has built his work around the belief that safety is not just about reacting to danger, but about planning ahead, training smart, and creating systems that actually work when they are needed the most. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Dynamic Integrated Security. Welcome,
Thank
Zeev.
you, Blanca. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I had a little trouble with your name because it's spelled...
It's a complicated one.
No, but I like it, by the way. So let's just get started. So tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to get into the security field.
Well, I have the privilege to serve 10 years in the Israeli Army in a Special Forces unit.
Yes.
Then I became a military advisor in many countries, especially in South America. Then when I finished my service, I became a security advisor for many companies, Nestle in Switzerland,
Yes.
many other companies. And moved to the United States about 20 years ago. Found my own security firms. And one of the things that struck me a lot, because I used to live close to Stoneman Douglas, what happened, the big tragedy in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Florida.
Right.
Was the lack of preparation, the lack of accountability from the police and the people who are supposed to be protecting our kids.
Yeah.
Dynamic Integrated Security is right now the largest provider of safe school officer in the state of Florida. Right. We expand to 9 other states, and recently we start penetrating in the Texas industry. Texas is one of the few states that actually enact a law to make mandatory for schools to have some sort of either the police or armed security presence that is trained and certified to protect the kids in schools.
So you mentioned something that you live near a school. So was that what inspired you to build Dynamic Integrated Security? Or was it several other things?
Well, it's several other things, but in between that, I'm a father. I have a 20-year-old right now who's in college, and my 15-year-old daughter. And I always believe that we are protecting life.
Yes.
You see, for us, and this is something I even tell my employees, insurance will pay for everything. Insurance will pay for the vehicles outside the school, for the structure, for anything material. There is no insurance in the world who can pay for a second of your life or a second of your life for a kid that, by the way, did not sign to be in combat.
That's right.
They deserve that protection. They deserve to go to school without fear that they're going to come back that day home, and especially parents too.
Yeah, of course.
So
well, of course, if you send your kids to school, you want to make sure that they're safe there.
Correct. And that is something that struck me as a father, because I have to leave my kids in school, and it struck me a lot because I was hearing the interviews, the police interviews with Deputy Peterson, who was the one protecting the kids, who was supposed to be protecting the kids, is Major Stoneman Douglas. And they were questioning him because, in that case, he waited outside for the shooting spree to finish, waiting for backups or something like that.
Yeah.
And they finally asked him, why you wait outside if you know it's your duty? You're supposed to be inside engaging with the shooter. You know what he said?
He
says that I am 3 weeks from retirement. Doesn't know my kids.
Wow.
And that is the police officer who's supposed to protect my kids? Really?
What?
Why? Because he's a police officer?
Right. What?
So that is striking me.
That is a strange answer for a police officer.
No, it's not. It's not that strange. Typically and historically, the police departments unfortunately, have been sending the less capable manpower they have to school, because suppose nothing happens there. So you have the people who are about to retire. You have the people who is not prepared to be in the street, or they are not up to standards to be in the street.
Right.
And quite honestly, I saw police officers sometimes in a school waiting outside watching Netflix in a vehicle. And my question to them is, how are you going to prevent the next tragedy?
Well, you know, that tells me, Zev, that these people don't have enough training.
Well, let me tell you, it's not just training.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vocation. You see, as a father and as somebody who is being in combat, I can tell you that nobody messes with my kids.
Right.
I believe that I will die for my kids.
Yeah.
And quite sure I will kill for my kids.
Okay.
So if I'm protecting that schools, those kids are my kids, and nobody is gonna mess with my kids. I will die for them.
Right.
So I need to be that and foremost, that in my mind before I engage in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, secondly, how is possible that somebody who is gonna be in a school don't know youth mental health, CPR, EAD, stop the bleed, how to do a threat assessment? How you know when a kid is having, or a human being is having, a mental health issue? How you don't? I believe that everybody from the janitor to the principal in the school should be trained in youth mental health first aid, CPR, EAD, stop the bleed, and more importantly, what I gotta do in an active shooter situation. And I tell you why. Because when an active shooter happens in school, anybody who is responding, anybody inside the school is the first responder. The police, the SWAT team, the ambulance arriving later, those are the emergency responders.
Right.
So if you go to what the FBI said in the last 5 years, school shootings inside a school, statistically speaking, don't last more than 8 minutes. Normally, they last seconds.
Right.
Now, the response from the police in the United States is between 8 minutes to 11 minutes. Now, if you make the math, that's how you get the FBI is telling us that most of the time, 75% to 95% of the time, the police arrive when the shooter already commit killings, is already killing people, engage in that, and then the police arrive when the shooter commits suicide, most of the time.
When it's already over.
When it's over.
Yeah, right.
So how you operate a school, if you know these metrics, if you know what's going on, how you operate a school without having somebody trained and certified, engage, and this is important to say, engage in protecting those kids. Yeah. It is irresponsible. It should be illegal to operate a school nationwide if you don't have somebody inside the school who can respond to that or is trained for that.
I just want to ask you this question because, you know, there's a lot of people watching Viva Magazine live, and there's an audience that normally when people think about security systems or some sort of system, they often think about just cameras and alarms. They don't think about anything else. And so
correct.
What integrated security, what does it really mean when you say all that? Because normally, normal folks out there, you know, people, dads, moms, and people who take their kids to school, all they're thinking about is security cameras and alarms. They don't think about those other things.
Those are unfortunately reactive measures.
Yeah.
I compare the cameras in a school, if they are not being monitored, and most cameras in the schools are not.
Yes.
As the black box of a plane. It will tell me what happened in the past.
Sure.
It's not going to jump from the wall and save my kids from somebody shooting them up.
Yeah.
So panic buttons.
That makes a lot of sense.
Correct.
I mean,
and I am pro having them. Actually, dynamic integrated security. What we do is we combine all this. We believe in a more holistic approach.
Yes.
We try to combine what we learned from the past, which is very important, to the latest technologies. For example, all our officers have body cams and transmit in real time to our command and control center. Our command and control center have access to the cameras in the school with vectorized maps, so we know exactly where the shooter is, and we can relay that information to law enforcement, because law enforcement is arriving. I'm not saying no.
Right.
And by the way, I want to tell you that I have huge respect for law enforcement, the good ones,
Yes.
the ones that actually do the job, the ones that are going to show up, and they show up all the time, despite of as much as you can criticize them or anything. This is a very difficult job, and we truly deserve. We truly should treat our law enforcement better.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's always that bad apples.
Yes.
That for example, in my personal opinion, unfortunately, the response in Uvalde is a clear example of that.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. There were a lot of challenges in that in Uvalde at that time that this happened. It was really devastating to that community. So what could they have done any different, Zeev?
The bigger one was the command instructor. When I see the command instructor that they have on site when police arrive and you start to investigate all this, there were none. Chief Arredondo was not in control. Nobody was. The dilemma that they face. He tried to evacuate the school when nobody even know how to do it. They don't have a clear layout of the land. They were hesitant on everything they were doing. They were second guessing that. And quite honestly, I think there was a lot of cowardice in their regard.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for the kids because I hear the phone calls from the kids inside the classroom calling outside and say, I hear law enforcement outside. Why they're not getting in? There are people still alive here. The shooter is not even engaging in the door. Why you don't get in? And that was an answer because cowardice, because of lack of training, because there are no clear command instructor. And I got to tell you something, and this is my worry. We know, because we've been discussing this with Homeland Security for quite some time, we are due for a terrorist attack in the United States. It's going to happen. And I don't want to sound alarmist to people or scare people, but it's the truth. I don't expect this to happen as an attack with 9/11, with planes and high tech and sophisticated like that. I imagine it's going to be more like ramming attacks in the streets or gunning down, as we see in Texas recently.
That is happening already.
Correct. Yeah. So, but what happened when we have a massive attack? And people need to understand, and these individuals, these terrorist groups, they're very sophisticated. They're really smart people behind this. What's going to happen in a city where you have 5 or 6 active shooters happening at the same time? We just saw it in the past history, recent history, when police arrived with 400 officers from even other states to an active shooter that already concluded. What happened when something like that happened? Who is going where? Who is taking control and say, well, this group of police officers respond to this group of police officers respond to that? That is going to be complicated because we don't have yet that command instructor in place in most police departments around the nation. And that is a big issue.
Okay, Zeev, we're going to leave it right there for a moment. We're going to take a short break and we're going to hear a word from our generous sponsor, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Viva Magazine Live, and we're here with Zeev Fragachan of Dynamic Integrated Securities. So let's get to talking about the schools, Zeev. Let's talk about what are the biggest challenges schools are facing right now, and what are they often underestimating?
The biggest problem schools have today is that, unfortunately, a lot of school administrators and the people in charge are making this a political issue, which is not. Bullets are going to kill us all.
That's right.
Regardless of what you believe or what your tendencies are or your belief system is. We are here to save life, regardless of what you think or not. And that is the biggest problems we have. Some people tell me, well, what about if we put impact glass and bulletproof glass, and we put bulletproof doors, and we put cameras, and we put these.
Yeah.
They try to avoid having somebody trained and certified in the school. Sometimes for political views, and they say, I don't want to see people armed in my school.
Right.
I don't want to see people trained in my school.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, I prefer that my kids get used to see people armed, defending themselves in the school. People armed to defend them in the school.
Right.
That not have them, and then I don't have kids. I cannot go to a supermarket to buy more kids.
Yeah.
That's unique. My kids,
Right.
my kids are my life.
Right.
I cannot live without them.
Right. You told me a fact earlier today when we were talking before the show. You mentioned that school shootings have been happening back before United States was a country. Can you tell me a little bit about
Correct.
that, and how do you find that out?
Correct. Well, I wrote a book about this, about the topic. And one of the things that I found on my investigation is the first school shooting in the United States happened in 1763. So
1763.
1763.
Wow.
And it's funny because I remember during the shooting in Uvalde, I saw CNN having some breaking, and they have their national expert in school safety, and the gentleman was saying that you can trace the first school shooting in the United States to Columbine. And it's sad. Then somebody called an expert, said that because 3 months before you have Jonesboro in Arkansas, and before that you have more school shootings. Especially the 70s, the 80s, the 90s were very active in regards to school shooting, and not just in the United States, around the world. The question that people need to understand is that we are not facing a problem that is new. Motivation change, but the outcomes remain the same.
That's right. So let me ask you this. So school safety now, today, it's about technology. And how much, or let me just ask it this way, how much of the school safety is about technology, and how much of it is it about training and planning? Do they even have that kind of training and planning in the schools?
We do. We do, and many schools take it very seriously. Other schools, again, for political reasons, for budgetary reasons, they still living in a bubble, thinking it's not going to happen to us.
Right.
Those are going to be our future problems. Some schools take the dynamic approach, the more proactive approach, which is enhancing their security, training. Number one, training their personnel, training every single one of them to know what to do in an active shooter situation, how to protect the kids. I got to give you an example, a perfect example. Chris Covenant School in Nashville. We talk in a school that was attacked. Everybody, they don't have somebody armed in the school, but everybody know what to do. Unfortunately, were victims. The janitor who was cleaning the entrance was the first victim. 2 kids and 2 teachers who were trapped in the stairs when the shooting started happening, and they have no time to go to their classrooms. And the principal who was trying to go around looking to see what happened. The rest of the kids were locked down. Everybody was doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And the shooter, despite being for a long time in the school alone, hunting for victims, wasn't able to find anybody. The police respond in that case was 4.5 minutes after the first call. 11 minutes later, the police arrived. So the shooter have about 15 to 16 minutes of free will inside the school, and you have no idea how many people will die in other circumstances. Thanks God, the training actually kick in and works, and they were able to contain this before it spilled all over.
Oh, of course.
So that's something
that would
didn't happen someplace else.
That would have been a large tragedy. Oh my God.
Absolutely, larger than what happened.
Of course. What should a school safety plan include if it's going to be effective in a real emergency? I mean, they do, like you say, have to be trained.
Absolutely.
And what else?
So you can divide this training and this preparation in 3. So the proactive one, which is having the cameras, cameras being monitored,
Right.
having somebody trained and certified inside, know what to do and how to engage and neutralize the threat. Practice at least once a month drills of active shooter drills, meaning lockdowns and what to do, who's going to be where and how.
Right.
Youth mental health, first aid, CPR, EAD, stop the bleeding on everybody in school. Everybody's a team. We are a team. Those kids are our responsibility.
That's right.
We need to take care of them and take care of us too.
Right. And that reminds me, you know, the kids, there used to be some fire drills when we were kids. And so what are they going to call these drills now? I mean, they're going to
drills.
Lockdown drills.
Correct.
Yes.
And then you have the not so proactive, which is the more reactive part, which is going to be during summer. We want our officers and police to train with the SWAT teams inside the school, CQB, and how we go to, so they know the layout of the school, what type of doors if we need to breach them, what kind of tools we're going to need to breach them, where the kids are, where people are going to be gathered inside the classrooms, where the hard corners. All that is important to do on vacation when school is not in session. Also, there's a component here of threat assessment. So we have to run a threat assessment when you have kids posting with weapons online, when you have social media threats, when you have phone calls with bomb threats, anything happen, you need to make sure that you have that pre-planned and you have organized, and we can help you with that, obviously.
Right. So how often should the school safety plans be reviewed and updated? Should they do it every quarter, every 6 months, or should we, I mean, how often should they be reviewed and updated?
Normally we do that every year. But again, it doesn't mean that we are doing something at the beginning of this year and in 3 months we're not going to change it, depending on the threat that we have.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you the last part of this is reunification, especially for the schools. This is a hot topic because we seen before a failure on their reunification planning. The threat already passed. The shooter is already down.
Right.
Now the chain of custody of these kids from us, from the school to the parents. And that is where most schools actually don't know, and they don't plan accordingly, and then you have huge liability for them in the future.
Right, and you call it reunification.
Reunification.
So describe to me what that means.
Well, that means that once the threat has passed, has subsided, and we already have all the kids accounted for, we need to reunify them with the parents.
Yes.
There's a protocol for that. It's a chain of custody. We want to make sure that these kids also have the mental health counseling and they need, parents too. We want to make sure that they know where to pick up their kids, how they're going to pick up their kids, what kind of documentation I need to see, proof for me to release that kid to you. Those are extenuating circumstances, but we need to plan accordingly.
Right. Okay, so when we come back, we'll talk more to Zeev Fragachan, okay, about school officers, technology, and what parents should be asking about campus safety. We'll be right back. Don't go away. And welcome back to Viva Magazine Live, and we're here with Zeev Fragachan, and we're talking about a lot of schools and what's happening with school shootings. And so now a lot of schools are talking about safety officers and campus protection. Zeev, what makes a school safety officer effective?
Is training, and is also vocation. You need to have that mentality that I told you about, protecting your kids like they were yours.
Yes.
We only hire retired law enforcement and veterans. And I tell you why, because the level that we need from them is so high that it will take us normally 6 or 7 months to train. Now, in order for us to condensate that in 200 hours, we want to make sure that we hire people that already have the proficiently at shooting that we need. So we don't hire cooks, we don't hire drivers. We hire 11 Bravos, we are infantrymen, we have tons of Marines, Rangers, Green Berets, we have a couple of Special Forces guys too.
Yeah.
That decide that this is this is a new step on their
Right.
life. This is a mission for them.
Yes.
This is a purpose.
Right.
And I think it's a huge and very important purpose in what we
Right.
do.
And I think what you're saying here, they got to have the right frame of mind for this.
Absolutely.
I mean, they got to have the right training, and they understand the training as well.
Correct.
Yes. So let me ask you this question. Looking ahead, what gives you hope when you think about the future of school safety, and what message do you want to say to the audience of VIVA Magazine Live?
Well, the message is very simple. We are fighting for life. We are not fighting here politics. We are not fighting here budgets. We fight in life. If there's no life, there's nothing for us to be doing. So especially life of the kids. Kids do not sign to be in combat.
That's right.
The kids deserve to have a safe environment when they don't have to worry who is going to shoot them tomorrow.
That's right.
And in order to do that is our mission as parents, the educators, the administrators, the politicians, the people in charge need to make sure that this doesn't happen. We give a lot of money to many countries around the world, and we spend money in many important things. This is not something that people are investing enough money yet.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that every school in this nation have somebody armed, certified, and willing to going the extra miles to protect these kids and make sure that they go alive home.
That's right. I agree. So any final message, Zeev, for parents and educators listening today?
I want to tell everybody that don't think that this is a problem only in the United States. This is a worldwide issue. We are living in a post-industrial society. We are going to the digital AI era, and it's going to bring a lot of changes. We need to embrace those changes. We need to make sure that our kids are protected, and we give them best education, and we put them in a position where they go in life to do a life by themselves without our needs. My message for you is this: prevail. Go talk to your administrators. Make sure that they take the necessary steps to protect those kids. Those are their responsibility, not just yours. It's their responsibility to put somebody to school, to make sure that that police officer, that SRO, that security officer is doing their job. Make sure that when this police officer or security officer in the school, they're checking all those doors, they're locked from the inside. If the kids are in the cafeteria, I need to be in the cafeteria. If my kids are in the playground, you need to be in the playground. You need to be with the kids wherever they are, because you have seconds, you don't have minutes. So time is on the essence. This is a business of timing, and we need to be there for them.
That's right. Thank you very much, Zeev Fragachan, COO of Dynamic Integrated Systems Securities. Thank you for sharing your insight, your experience, and your commitment to keeping our schools and communities safer.
Thank you, Blanca.
Thank you. Our guest today has been Zeev Fragachan, COO of Dynamic Integrated Securities. Thank you so much for sharing your insight, your experience, and your commitment to keeping our schools and communities safer. And thank you for watching Viva Magazine Live. I'm your host, Blanca Blanco, and we'll see you next time with more conversations that matter. Hasta luego, Houston.